know? Hold on. I should be live. Good morning. Just wait for my... Okay. I'm live. All right. Good morning, chat. How are we doing today? We should be doing good. That's good, Charlie. You got my mod. Welcome in. Good morning, bro. Charlie. All right, Tini. Yeah, give him some. Good morning, Richby. Welcome in. I knew you would come. I told you that on GNN last night. Speaking of that, I hope everybody joined GNN last night. What a great stream. Today, I'm going to give my thoughts about the Cenk versus Krystal Bong tile debate, followed by, then I'm going to have y'all listen to this little live stream, a snippet of it, of what Cenk did this live stream last night on the TYT channel, giving his little thoughts saying, oh, his new goal is regime change, blah, 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 blah. As you all know about the goal regime shit that's going on. Well, watch this snippet of it. I don't agree with most of Cenk's takes. I don't agree with anything he says. But anyway, I'm still waiting for people to come in. Let me turn off talk messages. I have it on my other screen. I only have 4 people. Jesus Christ. I don't know why I have 4 people watching this. Anyway, good morning, everyone. I gonna get started. So, I watched the Vanguard yesterday. I watched their take doing Cenk versus Krystal and Kyle. And I gotta say, whoo! That was fucking hell. That was fucking hell. Cenk into full asshole mode. He had no good takes. And he was yelling all the time. Just like he always does. Of course! I gotta yell! Of course he's gotta yell, even if you have to have a beer with fucking Zionists and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Or what about the My Pillow guy? Or Charlie Kirk the jerk off. But if you want, I can play a snippet of this guy on the Vanguard's take. I'll play a snippet because I don't know. If you want me to play a snippet, press 1 in the chat. You need to yell too. Hey, good morning, Randy Nunes. Rapid frame. Yay, one it to you. Now let's see. Let's see if I can find that snippet. Cenk's face was instant pissed in the moment he showed up on camera. Of course! He was instant pissed on camera. Okay, I see a bunch of ones. Okay, let me find it. Now, I'm going to play a snippet of this because it's 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 7 seconds long. I only want to get to the good context of this. Because, you know, it's like, they spend like 1 hour, 42 seconds, 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 7 seconds on this. So, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play a snippet of this. And holy shit, your eyeballs will not even last you 10 seconds. Hold on. Turn the camera around. Yes, I know. I gotta turn my volume up. I turn my volume up, I gotta turn my picture up. Let me get to the good part.
Into Donald Trump's pocket.
Accountability for that. You mentioned some dissent from Rogan on the kidnapping of college students off of college campuses. Is it the right that organized in opposition to that? No, it's the left and it's liberals. The only time that Trump's actions have been constrained at all in this Trump 2.0 era, which is vastly worse than I even expected when you and I had that conversation. I mean, we've got men in hundreds of people in a concentration camp. I didn't see any accountability from the right on that. I don't see any accountability from the right on an American city that is right now under invasion by our own troops, Marines on the ground in the city of LA. There. No, I don't see any accountability there. I see an administration that, as I predicted, the guardrails are completely off.
I do too.
And the only places where he has been constrained at all is when the left and liberals organized against Elon Musk, Tesla protests, showing up at town halls, etc., made him toxic. He had to be turfed out of the administration. And in the context of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, when you had mass left liberal resistance, even pushing Democratic leaders who were lame and weak to do something, Chris Van Hollen goes down to El Salvador, and the administration did something they did not want to do, which was to bring him back. That is the only time this administration has been constrained. It has had nothing to do with the right, had everything to do with liberals and the left organizing against him.
She's not wrong.
Yeah, that's hilarious. You asked about 12 questions.
You think it was hilarious? You think it was hilarious? It's not hilarious, Cenk. That is never hilarious to joke about. Therefore, that comment is invalid. Not true.
I would love the time to answer it.
Oh my God.
You didn't actually answer my question.
Shit. What a piece of fucking shit. She just politely, articulated intro to this conversation.
I know y'all saw this.
Summed up their disagreements and...
But I didn't get a chance to chat in it.
Perspective and point of view at this point in time in the Trump administration. For him to respond that way, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Like, fuck, why did you even agree to do this? Why did you? And he suggested it apparently. He said it.
Oh, I got my timing wrong. 41 minutes and 17 seconds. What the hell am I saying?
Fucking kid who's like, I don't want to be at school today. Yeah. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Like, how did you think this was going to come off well? Just being a condescending prick?
Yeah, it's weird. It's equal parts, like, petulant and condescension. And you can see right here in this freeze frame, he's lost Krystal. She's pissed off. I'm looking at her face and she's not fucking having this because he just came on her show and fucking disrespected her over and over and over again when she's the one doing him a favor, guys. And I mean, I would have lost it right here. I would have been like, then why the fuck did you beg me to come on my show to rescue your fucking ratings that they're tanking right now, okay? How much, do you want to turn the audience into this kind of a conversation? We know you're about to go underwater. Do you want to answer for that, Cenk? Okay, bye. Gavin and I, blown it at that point. I'm not being talked to like that on my fucking show. Shit, like fucking crazy for Cenk to come out here like that.
Good point.
Do you see a massive MAGA revolt against the war? And I'm being genuine. It's a literal question. Or do you just not see it?
Cenk, here's what I can tell you. Okay, Charlie Kirk, your buddy.
No.
He is already gone. He is already gone.
Thing to say.
Oh, is that ridiculous, Cenk? Because you treated Charlie a lot fucking nicer than you're treating Krystal. You say it's ridiculous to call him your buddy. Then why did you treat him so fucking friendly? Why did you treat him like your buddy? Instead of how you're treating Krystal, which is like some loser you don't even want to have to talk to or something.
Of course. His buddy is very hilarious. His voice sounds like he's in fucking high school or something. Because he probably jacks off too much. You know, and he needs a beer with Cenk. And you know how he spreads all these lies all the goddamn time. That's how he sounds like a fucking high schooler. That's why I call him Charlie Kirk the jerk off. Yeah, just go have a beer with Charlie Kirk. If you're that ignorant and stupid.
You know what I'm saying? Even though she's 100 times the person that Charlie fucking Kirk will ever dream of being. What the fuck? Like, seriously, what is going on here? This is so crazy. Cenk is so pissed he didn't even bother to fucking take this seriously.
Sarah, welcome in. We're actually watching.
This is crazy.
Reacting to Cenk versus Krystal and Kyle. They don't go to react to Cenk's little live stream from last night.
Platform that will give him
Why
time of day on their show and talk about how the Democrats are too woke and how the left is crazy and it's
good morning, welcome
that are
in.
the cause of all the woes in this country, right? But then the second he has to have a conversation with another person on the left, he melts down. He becomes a caustic asshole. He becomes an idiot piece of shit. Okay, and look at him. He looks like a worked up little pimple right there. He looks like a fucking. It's crazy, and he's not doing himself any favors because of this. Clearly. He's the one without any grip on reality at this point. And
Zach's right. He has no actual point on what the hell is going on. So does Hannah. I mean, take the example of the fucking ICE raids. Take the example of what the hell is going on in Los Angeles with the National Guard. Take the example of why the Dodgers had the balls to tell ICE to go fuck yourself and get away from Dodger Stadium. Cenk and Anna won't say that on TIT. They're just gonna make up shitty lies like they always do.
That's what's so crazy that you're the accusation. You know what it really reminds me of, Gavin? You ever watch the documentary about Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle? No. Pete Rose is a fucking crazy person. For people who don't know, he has more base hits, more hits than any other person in all of Major League Baseball, but he's banned from the Hall of Fame because he used to bet on games. You cannot fucking bet on games while you're in Major League Baseball, but he refuses to acknowledge that he did bet on baseball, and now he's dead, right? But he has this whole complex where he'll constantly lie, and he'll talk about how, like, oh, I was just doing this, and when everybody knows for a fact, yes, you were the game manager, and you were betting on the games, etc. It's that same kind of complex where you have such a deep narcissism, and you're caught with your pants down so far that you'll just invent anything and run in circles and just dig yourself deeper and deeper into a hole. Yeah, it's wild too because, like, obviously Krystal
Very
on
wild.
Our show,
Very
and,
wild.
Responded to questions we've asked about TYT, but they don't engage in Vanguard style gutter commentary where they just come out here and trash TYT like anything but. In fact, I remember Krystal fucking.
Oh no,
Gavin,
you guys are the kings of trashing TYT.
Which happened a couple years ago.
You are the kings of trashing TYT.
And instead of laughing at his dumb ass like we did, Krystal said, you know what, I actually appreciate you standing up and doing this because no one else is doing it other than Marianne Williamson. And, someone has to do it. And at least you're trying. And she took it seriously. A lot more seriously than it fucking deserved to be taken. A lot more serious than it ever actually was, right? But, she let him have that platform. And she let him beg for money, from their audience on breaking.
Yeah, I did see that, Sarah. That's really... I'm kind of flip-flop about that. Mine says... One half says to me, like, well, okay, who cares? One says, what the hell are they doing? He took drugs years ago. He should still be banned. But I like you, I might have missed the point.
points. And then on Krystal, Kyle, and Friends too, where he came on and said that line, which has now become infamous, calling Trump a Nazi.
Joey Pie Official. Hey, what's up? Come on in and enjoy the show. Welcome in.
Really crazy to me. But either way, Krystal.
I've never seen you in this chat.
And sat there.
Welcome
let him spin
in.
his fucking bullshit yarn. Only for him now to go on here and disrespect the living hell out of her and her show and her fucking husband. Why? Because she came on our show and talked some shit, probably. Do you think that's what's behind this anger? Because
Sarah, I think her family's very pissed.
An absolutely, wonderful person, super nice behind the scenes and in front of the camera.
I think he genuinely just.
So, like, welcome in.
One, I think he's pissed that she didn't.
The Danish nurse knew it'd be bad for business, to be fair. Yeah, to be fair, it would have been bad for business. They knew if ICE would have raided their stadium, they would have been fucked as hell. They would have been like, no, let ICE come raid our stadium. We don't give a fuck. Let them take them away. I mean, no. No. The owners had actual balls to tell ICE, get the fuck out of here. Go fuck yourself. We don't care about you. You and your little ICE Nazis can go fuck yourselves. And don't take away our workers that are Latino. We'll do anything that's right. Not that's wrong under some old ass crazy man that will do anything to make this country like, a white supremacist. Oh, you're an animator, Jack? Okay. All right, let's continue on.
Let him come on and just rewrite history, for one. And two, I think that he's just at this point where anybody that he sees as to the left of him is his enemy. And so it just immediately becomes that battleground.
Yeah. Although I do think it has something to do with them coming on our show.
I mean, yes.
Oh my god, why do we have to add ads? Why? I'm not showing you the ads. I am not showing you the ads. Sammy, welcome in. So, I am not showing you that. Why the hell do we have to add an ad on YouTube? We don't play ads here. Anyway, we're halfway there. So I can move on and make my point. And I can show you this little live stream that Cenk did last night while I was modding Left of the Box. Yes, Cenk is a total narcissist. Like he always is. Yes, Cenk's points right there are always wrong. And finally, yes, Charlie Kirk's little buddy, Cenk. Cenk's little buddy, Charlie Kirk, is absolutely hilarious because he's always wrong. But he's gonna go more into shit love. Let's watch.
He's already gone from being critical of the Iran war to guess what? He got a call from the White House.
Yes, please.
And now what he's saying? What's he saying? Oh, I trust Trump. Trump is the man for this moment. I know he's going to make the right decision.
The exact
Steve
quote
Bannon.
is,
Go
can I
ahead.
give the exact quote?
Yeah.
This is from Charlie Kirk. Quote, we must trust Trump in this situation. Go ahead with Steve Bannon.
Steve,
No, we must not trust Trump. We must not trust Charlie Kirk. We must not trust Cenk. We must not trust Anna. We must not trust the MAGA idiots or any money-hungry official. That garbage trail can Kirk. Love that.
Bannon. Hold on, Steve Bannon.
Oh, Steve Bannon, the garbage boy.
Gavin and I have been out and about. We went to the No King protest. I saw one dude with a libertarian flag. I didn't see a single MAGA person. I saw tons of liberals and progressives. You didn't see the huge MAGA coalition that was protesting across the street from us? The huge crowd? I can't believe you missed it. Oh, Gavin, because you're a dishonest leftist that's just on your TMZ farming, you didn't even film it and tell your audience about it.
This is the Financial Times today. Steve Bannon says, if the president...
Sammy, I actually agree with you, because Didn't I not actually hear that she had a tampon thrown at her by PBD? I don't have the video, but all I know is that PBD actually threw a tampon at her. What the actual hell? Dude's a total pervert. Why would you do that? Sexual offender. You are that sick in the head. Wasn't PBD one of his goons? Of course! You didn't know that, Sammy? Well, actually, now you know. But if you watch that majority report clip, they actually defend Anna from PBD from that tampon throwing, which most of the time we don't defend Anna. We're not supposed to defend Anna and Cenk. Well, it's because now you know that PBD is a sexual offender. All right.
As commander-in-chief, makes a decision to do this. The MAGA movement, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, the Matt Gaetzes, we will fight it up till the end. But if he has more intelligence and makes that case to the American people, the MAGA movement will support President Trump. When Trump says that he gets to define what America first is, he's right about that.
We'll see.
And so when you have Bannon, who also was critical of Elon Musk originally and got a call from the White House and said, cut it out, and he bent the knee, these people time and time again, Cenk, all they do is
hold on, let me go back and read that.
Elon Musk originally and got a...
Let me read that. Steve Bannon warns Donald Trump around a strike would quote-unquote tear U.S. apart. Hey, Bad Luck, you welcome in. Good morning. Let me read this. This is from the Finance Times. This is a snippet. I don't know why they are in the way, but this is a snippet from this article. Quote, Bannon vowed to quote-unquote fight for the U.S. to stay out of the war, but said that in the end, MAGA people would back whatever choice the president makes. If the president makes a choice, the MAGA movement, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, and the idiots in the end, president makes. Now in the end, we all know on Saturday what happened. The MAGA idiots, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, and all the Donald Trump idiots said, you know what? We're going to join in with Israel and bomb Iran. And we're going to do that tonight. And they did that Saturday night. If you do not understand, because everybody went live, including Left of the Box, on Saturday night. And that happened Saturday night. A 10 p.m. Eastern press conference, which was a short one. It was like, oh my God, what are you doing, old man? Don't you need to go the fuck to bed? You're nearly 80 years old. Look, Steve Bannon warned your ass. But looks like you didn't listen. Shows how fucking unfit you are for office, Trump. Had you not won this election, your ass would be sitting in jail for all the sexual offensive things you had done. Is this an argument or a discussion? Jelly Pie, look. This is sort of a reaction to the Cenk versus Krystal Kyle debate. Then I'm going to react to Cenk's little live stream from last night. Because if I'm part of the progressive movement, well, because I've been watching these progressive streams for so many years. You now understand. Can you please say happy birthday, Eva? Okay, happy birthday, Eva. Good morning, Eva Rose. Hasuma Tuna Akabis, never seen you before. Good morning. I don't know who you are. I don't know what the hell is going on. Are you Muslim? I am not going to answer that. I don't know why you're asking me that question. Because you're trying to come in here and troll me, you might as well kick your ass. My might as well kick your ass. Don't ask stupid questions. I don't have time for that shit. Anyway, moving on.
From the White House and said, cut it out. And he bent the knee. These people, time and time again, Cenk, all they do is ultimately, when Trump makes a decision, they bend the knee. We are already far enough into this administration to know
right.
There has been no constraint on his action that has come from the right. None. And we're in a war with Iran. Okay. We are already in a war with Iran. They didn't constrain him here.
Look at
He's doing
Cenk.
whatever the hell he
He's
wants to
shaking
do.
his fucking head.
Okay, so you guys just spoke for like 8 minutes doing a straw man. Okay.
8 minutes.
He hates it when his own
8 minutes.
back to him. You have been so.
What do you mean 8 minutes,
for the
Cenk?
last 18 months, I would say 4 years. But really, the last 18 months, the last 8 months, it's been shockingly bad. How bad, miserable your commentary is. It's so bad that you can't say it back to yourself, right? You're like a mother that just treated her kids like shit their whole lives, and then you talk to her about it, and she's, oh, I'm a terrible mother. It's like, yeah, you are a terrible mother. You treated your kids like shit their whole lives. Like, you don't get to cry and be like, why are you being mean to me? This is what you did. You reap what you fucking sow, Cenk. She read your words back to you.
Damn.
She played it with video content.
Bayan Budakia. Good morning. Welcome in.
And apologized to her. Where was the fucking apology? I missed
Welcome
it.
in. First time in my
This is the
chat.
third time he's just responded in a totally, incorrigible, fucking classless way. It's crazy. I genuinely can't believe that. Again, after making this whole deal out of fetishizing conversation, having to appear with people who disagree with you, he can't even handle the most polite, freaking well-spoken commentator on the internet doing just that, sitting down and saying, "Hey, let's hash it out. Let's go over some of the areas where we continue to disagree." It's so wild.
The refuge's medicine is depleted.
Oh, no. No. No.
Infiltrate the zombie-infested
No. No. Get out of here.
And this is what's so harmful.
No.
You guys make it sound like I'm pro.
Goddamn ads.
And I think that MAGA is just a bunch of angels who are seeking the establishment.
Excuse you, Cenk. Why are you calling MAGA angels? Why are you calling MAGA angels? I don't know what the hell you're going through. Are you trying to get a correspondent position at OAN? Or a correspondent position at News Shit, aka Newsmax? Or a correspondent position at Fox? Holy shit. Why, everybody knows you used to be on fucking MSNBC.
Us when he was elected. Left wing, and they're going to magically agree with us on every issue. And the minute that
Trump
does something wrong,
YouTube ads are so stupid.
100%. And that's what I believed. I believed in rainbows and unicorns. Of course not, Krystal. Of course not. Well, you're trying to move them. Moving the other side
that comment.
is
You quite
super
Christ.
hard.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Anything where they actually agree with us, you have to encourage that. So when you say all the things that you said, is Trump a bad guy? Of course.
Of course.
Idea, by the way, to just find the one thing.
Is Trump a bad guy? Of course. No. And you're saying that's a lie. Is Trump a bad guy? Not of course. Oh wait, what the hell? Okay. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I said, no, not of course, I'm lying. I'm lying to my audience. I'm just gonna kiss his ass. We all know I want to.
Think you agree with on them and then validate their entire movement? Just fucking sanitize it?
Of course. So if you're listening out here, guys, the framing of all of this is totally wrong. Like, we're having a conversation. Yo, do you think Trump's a bad? Of course, I think Trump's a bad guy. He's totally authoritarian. That's why I voted against him. That's why I worked so hard against him.
Or did you?
Framing
Or
makes
did you?
offensive when you guys started with a premise that's out in la la land. We totally oppose Trump. So now the second part of the
Or do you?
is, do I think that MAGA is going to revolt on every issue?
You know what's also weird? Sorry to, again, we're going to let this play, but you know what's also weird is like he's complaining about the framing. TYT also has a big viewership issue right now. If you're so concerned about the framing, then why don't you invite Krystal and or Kyle on the Young Turks to have this debate live on your own show? You could frame it however the fuck you want. And honestly, you'd have an excuse to because Krystal hosted the last debate. So you theoretically could get them to agree to come on the Young Turks, do this live.
What's wrong about unicorns
viewership in
and
months,
rainbows?
you know, and at least he would.
There's
be on his
nothing
own
wrong about
turf. Why do you
unicorns and
think he
rainbows.
tried to set
Oh,
it up
except
like this?
you're
Again, it seems like
fucking
every time
Cenk,
Jake
you're
really
there
gets in
now.
a spicy clash, it's not on his own goddamn channel. He doesn't benefit from it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. At least he would make some advertising money if everybody watched him get humiliated on the Young Turks. It's probably a compilation of things, right? The main host show. I have no fucking idea. It's a great. I'm trying to think of a good
It
reason.
seems like such an obvious, like if he really wants to do this.
Let me read this comment. Anyway, I don't think he was triggered. I think he was glad to see the battle of the Muslims. I also don't think he was asking about that. They are not living since 9,000. Oh! Okay. I get it. Thank you. Let me go back to Gavin's point about the TYT viewership issue. Now, when I was looking at that little Cenk live stream last night, someone said in that chat, no one cares about what you think. And their viewership was like, maybe a little bit weak. There's still a bunch of fucking TYT fanboys. And most of them were saying like, no one cares what you think. Because everybody knows he looks like a depressed son of a bitch after his ass got defeated by Krystal and Kyle.
Part two, like the sequel to the big debate. Why would you not do it on TYT? It's so fucking weird. Like, you know, you can at least get some attention on your channel that way, even if you do embarrass yourself like you are.
Unless he will just give the fuck up and shut his channel down.
Continuing to pause it.
Okay, this is one guy that keeps bitching about it.
Why? Why would they? They love Trump. Of course not. That's not what
Or
you're
you
looking
are
for.
Trump.
You're looking for, is there one or two issues where there is actual agreement, and can we take that agreement and do something interesting to restrain Trump in those issues?
Oh my God.
So when you talk about
And so
immigration,
when has that
Oh
worked?
my
okay,
god.
hold on. Well, we're in the middle of it right now. So
It worked? What?
We're at war with
It
Iran.
worked.
Hate to break it to you. We're at war with Iran. It didn't work.
Okay. So
Krystal, we're now in
So when you talk about
Krystal.
immigration,
Let me pause that again. This was way before we joined with Israel in bombing Iran. Now, Krystal and Cenk, now you understand over the weekend that we joined with Israel in bombing Iran, even though we're still in war with Iran. I don't know what the hell was up with Trump's brain. It's like, let's do it. We're gonna kill Iran with Israel. I don't give a fuck what they say. Let them cry like little bitches on mainstream media. Let them cry like little bitches on progressive media. All I want to hear is happy fucks from Fox News, Newsmax, and OAN, and all the other right-wing outlets. That's all I want, folks. Not some political correct bullshit.
and all the things that he's terrible on, I know what MAGA's movable on or not. I talk about it on the Young Turks all the time. If you think you're going to move them on immigration, you are nuts.
Fucking liar.
They're not going to move an inch on immigration. So I fight him tooth and nail on that dungeon in El Salvador.
No, you don't. You are fighting 10 times harder with Krystal and Kyle today than you have ever done with the right winger that I've seen at one of their shows.
They're sending people to.
Of course
the
he
Marines
doesn't.
Now, there's some issues like immigration where they haven't moved an inch and they never will move an inch, right?
Oh, really?
There's some
Explain
issues
why
like
ICE is raiding our country.
smattering of them are like, this is
Explain why the ICE raids are happening in our country.
Remember, guys, this is super important. There's 77 million people that voted for Trump, right? If you
No
do
shit.
all the same, you will not be able to win elections. Why is winning elections important? Because that is how you take power away from Trump, away from the
Lego.
Oh my God. Explain, Cenk, explain this. Explain why the voters are stupid enough to vote for a money-hungry politician. Explain why the ICE raids are happening in this country. Explain why the Nazi regime in the Trump administration is real, especially prior to 2025. Why didn't you tell that to your audience on TYT? Why didn't you explain that? Why aren't you saying we must stop ICE from the raid? We must stop this white supremacist regime. Why must we not stop this? Why? Why aren't you saying it?
Is it going to be her, or are we going to get even another?
Why aren't you fucking saying it?
Oh my God, you.
What is a legacy account? I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe Soul Life does know. Anyway, let's keep on.
Fucking unbelievable, dog. Unbelievable. I could not just let myself be spoken to like this. He's talking to them like they're A after they just cooked his ass, and he's ignoring any of their legitimate criticisms and responses.
Yeah, and he thinks, like, I really think that he thinks he's killing it. I don't know, like, do you think this is really coming off well, Cenk? Like, oh yeah, my condescending smugness is totally going to show them and convince the audience, even though they're all watching on their channel, so they're probably inclined to agree with them more already. Like, just from an audience perspective, it's a terrible approach if you're going into a debate that's not on your own turf.
So if you treat all 77 million as hardcore MAGA, you're going to push them away and they're going to vote against you. You can say, oh no, but it makes me feel better. I have emotional release and my audience likes me more because I seem like a Trump.
Rejection.
So
rejection.
Yeah, but did that persuade anyone?
Also, like, fucking, this is literally Cenk's debate strategy when he goes on Piers Morgan, specifically when he's talking about Palestine and Israel. And it's a damn good strategy. It gets attention. He fucking, like, it's honestly the correct approach to just scream over these idiot Zionist warmongers when they're talking. But now when it comes to Trump, oh, we have to put on the kid gloves and calibrate our take considering which kind of Trump supporter it is and be nice to them. It's like, why does this...
Yeah, when he goes on Piss Morgan, when he yells at the Zionists, that's when we agree with them. Otherwise, fuck it. We don't agree with his text.
Same criticism not just applied to your own fucking debate tactics, not just on Piers Morgan, but this has historically been your brand. Cenk's the guy that yells and gets worked up and screams at people. Like, that's literally what you're known for, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna piss really quick, but keep watching.
Voter is fascist. Yes, but did that persuade anyone? You're trying to persuade the people in the middle to come to your side. So what are the issues where we've got a fighter's chance? War. Okay. So now, do I think that on day one, they're all going to flip and then act and be successful in stopping all of the establishment, all of the neocons? And by the way, were we successful? We were not successful in stopping any of them during Biden or any other Democratic administration.
Yeah,
either,
no shit.
Right? So now there's a giant full-blown revolt from MAGA against this war. Now, if you're saying, no, I don't see Tucker Carlson, Bannon, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I haven't seen...
Yeah, Cenk, don't you mean fucker Carlson or Marjorie Karen Greene? Not you too, you know.
A single fucking march on the streets against this war, at least not from MAGA. I mean, maybe there's been some organized by like the fucking DSA or something, but have you guys seen, has there been a single actual organized protest or event that MAGA is responsible for that's in opposition to Trump's foreign policy? I haven't seen shit. And if not, then I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Some tweets?
I can play a few more moments.
The Act, Cernovich, Candace, etc. All of them opposed to the war. But you might not, because a lot of people watch programming that honestly just kind of gives them a misleading sense of
And
what's
Cenk,
happening.
Did you see
Shut up.
Tucker, Trump saying, Tucker called me to apologize. He said he went too far. Did you see Steve Bannon saying, we're all going to fall in line ultimately? So I'm not talking about, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the however many million Americans voted for Trump, some of whom are hardcore MAGA, and you will never move them. And I guarantee you, the moment that Trump says, this is the policy, they're going to say, you're right, sir, this is the policy, this is brilliant, and I am on board. Are there independents that can...
Sure.
Are there independents that can be moved? Yes, there are two separate questions here, okay? Number one is we are in hell right now. Like, the level of damage that has been done to this country, done to the world, from Trump 2.0 already is astounding. So the number one thing is triage, right? How do we stop?
That's what I'm doing.
How do...
No,
Krystal is not wrong there. We are in hell. The damage is being done by Trump 2.0. And there's so much they could do because, you know, Tucker Carlson's not going to apologize. You know he's a evil, racist ass man. The same thing with Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon is like, you know, one of those criminals that you cannot trust. And he's just completely sad.
Not doing that. And the other thing I wanted to just add quickly is that the main reason the Democrats lost is because people who showed up to vote for Joe Biden did not show up to participate in the election in 2024. They got way more people who decided to vote for them. So it wasn't like, and also, frankly, Donald Trump got a lot more people to show up and vote for him during the 2024 cycle than he was able to during COVID. A lot of that, which was his own doing, because he talked a lot of shit.
Oh, so a while ago?
Oh, wait. To die from COVID, and he was bungled.
Oh, wait. Oh, did I press the wrong button? Damn it. Oh, crap. I pressed the wrong button. Holy shit.
He was bungling the fuck out of it.
I'm sorry, y'all. I pressed the wrong button. Anyway. Yeah. She's not... No. That's right. That's the absolutely correct truth. But, Randy, it was really a long... A while ago was it? When Tucker decided to, quote-unquote, apologize. But I don't know. Did Carlson or Bannon, whatever, apologize to do Trump as lip service? Of course they wouldn't.
But the reality is that it's
of course!
savviest to go after MAGA voters. It's savviest to go after disenfranchised voters, people who used to be Democratic Party voters but have stopped participating, or rather people who are new to the voting and participation process. Those people are far more likely to be open to your ideas and your solutions than somebody who has previously been entrenched in the Republican Party. There are exceptions, obviously, but by and large, you're better off going for people who voted for Barack Obama twice and then haven't voted since then, or something like that. Yeah, 100%.
Do we stop as much damage as we can? And the track record thus far in the Trump administration is the only time he has been constrained is through the left and liberals banding together and going through the court system and public pressure. That's all we've seen in this administration. The other question is how do you win elections? So go ahead and address that, and we can talk about the election piece. But real quick, before you get in, you know, as to the earnestness of this MAGA anti-war movement, put element number 3 up on the screen. Do you know? Tell me, how many Republicans have signed on to the War Powers?
Let me read this. House War Powers Resolution. Thomas Massey, these bunch of idiots sign on to this thing. These include a bunch of Republicans and Democrats sign on to this thing. And we all know they're money hungry. They include Thomas Massey, a Republican of Kentucky, the most hated Democrat, senator from California, Ro Khanna. Didn't he just have an appearance on fucking Left Reckoning? Rashida Tlaib, Democrat of Michigan. AOC, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat of New York. Dan Breyer, Democrat of Virginia. Red Cesar, Democrat out of Texas. Lloyd Doggett, Democrat out of Texas. Troy Garcia, Democrat out of Illinois. Val Hale, Democrat out of Oregon. Pramila Jayapal, Democrat out of Washington State. Summer Lee, a Democrat out of Pennsylvania. Jim McGovern, Democrat out of Massachusetts. Alana Marr, a Democrat out of Minneapolis. Anaya Presley, a Democrat out of Massachusetts. Delia Ramirez, a Democrat out of Illinois. Nadia Vasquez, a Democrat out of New York. Mark Pocan, a Democrat out of Wisconsin. Bonnie Watson Coleman, a Democrat out of New Jersey. Paul Taco, Democrat of New York. Becca Bologna, Democrat of Vermont. Krystal Oza, Democrat of Pennsylvania. Veronica Escobar, Democrat of Texas. And Glenn Moore, a Democrat out of Wisconsin. In short, there's only one Republican out of these names in the House War Powers Resolution Group. All the others are Democrats. So, do you see any other Republican on this list? Hell no. There's only one. One. Rest of them are Democrats, including the most hated one, Ro Khanna. Now, the Senator War Powers Resolution was backed by Tim Kaine. Oh, fuck. Tim Kaine, a Democrat out of Virginia. The Senate, No War Against Iran Act. Bernie Sanders, the Burn, independent out of Vermont. Pierre Welch, Democrat of Vermont. Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts. Jack Malocki, Democrat of Oregon. And Chris Van Hollen, Democrat of Maryland, I believe. So, in short, there's one independent and one Republican. All these entire names. Everybody else is a Democrat. Everybody else is a Democrat. Because you don't see Republicans supporting this. Because they love to kiss Trump's ass. They love to suck his dick.
Resolution.
Oof. One. And guess how Donald Trump feels about Thomas Massey?
He hates him. He's trying to get someone to primary Thomas Massey.
Or ideologically to Dave Smith. Every other person here is a Democrat. So
Yeah,
to the earnestness of this anti-war MAGA coalition and their commitment to blocking war with Iran, here's where the rubber meets the road. You have one Republican who is already at odds with Trump, who is willing to put his name on this war powers resolution. That's it.
So, Krystal, look, I know you don't mean it, but you keep conflating two things. The Republican politicians, including Trump, and the Republican voters.
That is such horseshit because you just had Marjorie Taylor Greene on your show for a friendly interview where you affirmed her opposition to war with Iran, you affirmed her opposition to Trump's military budget, you affirmed her opposition to anything that she didn't define as America First, but curiously, her name didn't show up on that fucking list either.
Yes, it didn't. And of course, Cenk is too stupid to me to ever mention Marjorie Taylor Greene, because if he did, she'll piss off Marjorie Taylor Greene. He'll piss off Marjorie Taylor Greene and saying, why the hell did Cenk mention me badly on fucking progressive shows like on Kyle Kalinske and Friends or whatever the hell it is, because I'm trailer trash. You all know that, because I need to go back to the farm because I do not belong in Congress. I'm such a dirty ass pig from Georgia because I look like some blonde Barbie bitch from the country that doesn't belong in Congress, only on the farm, never to have any money. I was just a jealous punk ass girl. Because y'all know I'm a complete fool. I love sucking Trump dick every day, even though I bend the knee for Jesus. Oh my God. I love that so much, even though when I have to have sex with Trump, even though he's 79 years old. Anyways, I gotta go back to Georgia, y'all. Later.
Right? So you're not just talking about the voters, Cenk. We have the receipts. Every single person in our audience remembers when you had Marjorie Taylor Greene on, you agreed with her team before she came on your podcast that you weren't going to push back, that you weren't going to ask her any tough questions, that it was going to be a complete friendly where you were going to focus on what you agreed on. What did you say you agreed on? That you didn't want war, right? Well, she lied to your fucking face and every single one of the people in your audience, and she did exactly what we said she was doing, which is that she was...
Silent Dalek? No. Actually, that's a Marjorie Taylor Greene impersonation. Don John, welcome in. Who is Mexican Jesus? I don't know. I don't know who the hell Mexican Jesus is.
Sanitizing Donald Trump's horseshit mission as he would continue to do escalations at every turn. That's exactly what happened. Now you're staring down Krystal Ball, lying to her face, saying that you never ever gave any credit to the politicians, and you're only talking about the voters.
The base, which, by the way, check Donald Trump's approval rating with the Republican base. Cenk is acting like there's some mass revolt going on. It's over 80%, guys. You think they hate Donald Trump? You think there's some mass revolt? No, a few of these idiots pretend to be against war, just like they have been the whole fucking time.
Yes.
They were pretending to be against war a year ago, too. And now they're just doing the same thing. They're just, I made a little mean tweet and then apologized for it. But 80% of the Republican base, the Republican Party, still supports Donald Trump. And so, yeah, it actually is fair to conflate the politicians with the base because they both have an unyielding fucking, refusal to challenge him or resist him in a serious way that's actually going to constrain him in any meaningful way.
People who voted for Trump, okay? So are the Republican politicians corrupt? Of course they're corrupt. Are they going to say, hey, Israel,
the question,
I'll be your bitch?
Is, are you corrupt? Of course you're corrupt. Oops.
Republican politicians corrupt? Of course they're corrupt. Are they going to say, hey, Israel, I'll be your bitch and I'll do whatever the hell you want me to do? Of course they are. They're completely owned by Israel, okay?
This morning I saw a clip from a parent, former TYT contributor, calling out TYT over Marjorie Taylor Greene and asked his view to stop saying it. TYT clips all that explains the new contributors. Wow. Really? Can you link the clip for us, please? If you still have it, can you link it for us, please, So Life? I like to see this so bad. And what channel is it on? I like to see this. Oh no. Alright, Sarah, see you later.
So AIPAC, et cetera, the warmongers, by the way, let's be honest, is more than half the Democratic Party totally owned by AIPAC.
Look it up for us, please.
Right? So I know. Oh my
I
God!
wanna see it.
Oh no, you can't be honest. You have to just say the other side.
Opening
Ah! God damn it!
feeling of maybe. Just
That is
These damn
such
ads.
a wild thing to say to Krystal and
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Oh, Coach D. Let me see. Coach D. Okay, got it. Okay. I'll take a look at that. I know it's 7 minutes and 8 seconds. Thanks, Saul.
Kyle, two people who have never bit their tongue about their hatred for establishment Democrats. This is just peak cope.
Terrible, and our side is angels. No, I'm not
But
going to play
Jay,
that.
would you
That's
rather?
nonsense.
But would you rather be on the side of the 37 who signed onto the War Powers Resolution, or the
I am on
one?
the side of the 37. Everything you frame is a straw
Easy.
man. I am on the side of the 37. In
No,
fact,
he's
Ro
not.
Khanna is my top ally. Bernie
No,
Sanders
he's not.
and Ro Khanna and I had the same exact strategy that you criticized in November when we
That's not
talked.
true.
Of course it's not true. He's not on the side of the 37. He wants you to believe that. But he's not on the side of the 37. He's on the side of the money-hungry politicians where he can sit and drink beers with politicians, or should I say money-hungry Republicans, for example, like, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
You literally put me, and Kyle did the same thing. You guys put me in the same bucket as
You're such a little bitch.
Bernie and Ro reaching out to see if we can find agreement on the
But
right.
what else?
You're right,
But what
we
else
are in
has
the same
Bernie
bucket.
done? What else has Bernie
Quiet
done that
tears,
has been
Jane.
profoundly
Quiet
impactful?
tears.
The anti-oligarch, the Fight Oligarch tour, which was
That's
an
what I
effort to
do for a
bind
living.
together.
And guys, again, if you missed this earlier, I was literally in Tulsa, Oklahoma yesterday when Faye Shakur came on stage and gave Bernie Sanders the notice that said Donald Trump has done 3 strikes in Iran. There was literally a woman in the crowd that's like, "We're going to war with Iran." And Bernie gets the news in real time,
think
and
this
a
was from
crowd of
yesterday.
people from Tulsa, Oklahoma start chanting,
from
"No
yesterday.
more wars! No more wars!"
Or yes,
It was
yesterday.
absolutely insane. That is coalition building. That is bringing your neighbors together. Those were people from all walks of life. There was indigenous people. There were farmers. There were tons of teachers. Okay, Bernie had 2 different rounds of teachers speak before he spoke. He also had a union representative for people who work on airplanes from Oklahoma. They all spoke. It was a massive, wide-ranging coalition. That's how you build change. He looked at all of those people and he said that he was
never knew
sorry
about
and
that
ashamed that the Democrats abandoned them, that he did not believe in blue states and red states, that it was a concept that was foreign to him, and that as a United States Senator, he was there to represent all Americans.
Dude, the only reason DC gets away with the stuff that they do is due to their ignorance, because everyone knew that everyone knew how it worked. It would have been enough for it to happen a long time ago. Still was, right?
Not just the citizens of Vermont, okay? So that is how you go out there, and that's how you win over hearts and change minds and all those kinds of things.
The left and the liberals to protest and to resist this administration, and that has been profoundly more
We're having
impactful.
a conversation with a person who isn't here.
Did the Pentagon budget get cut? Just tell me that. What's the Pentagon budget? Did it get cut?
Largest Pentagon budget ever, Krystal. It is going to be a $1 trillion Pentagon budget.
You now asked me 28 questions.
Did
Let
Don
me answer
Jr.,
them.
did he do whatever with the generals? Did that work out?
All right, guys, look, I came on here because, look, you're generally fair. So you asked me 28.
It's not fair to ask you if you still agree with all this. Like, he's acting like a child. He wants to be treated like a politician, which I think is really interesting. He wants to be treated like somebody who doesn't just have to speak freely. It's like, Cenk, you're not anything. You're not shit. You're just a host.
Questions, and then let me answer them. So, and stop framing it as if I'm a different person. You keep making all these assumptions about who I am. Oh,
That's not how it works, Jake. You shut up and listen to the interviewer and answer their questions. You don't shout at the fucking interviewer. and interrupt them 600 times. You fucking dickhead. Listen to the interviewer's questions. Stop interrupting him and shouting like a little bitch on your fucking show. Jesus.
Are you on the Republican side or the
I'm literally citing things that you said, Cenk. Like, I played your clip of what you said. Turn to the camera.
Oh,
hey,
shut up,
tell me
Cenk.
if I'm wrong.
Oh, Christ,
This
I'm
specifically,
I'm right here. I'm
Cenk,
right here. Can I talk for myself instead of you?
You specifically held on to the Pentagon budget.
At this point, borderline lying about me in every
He calls it lying. She just read a quote from him.
framing of every question. Can I
How am I lying?
Wait. Hold on.
How am I lying?
Stocks open to little change as traders monitor oil prices. Iran's response to U.S. bombing. Wow.
Tell me how I'm lying.
Questions instead of you
Tell me how I'm lying,
as a
Cenk.
person that doesn't exist.
Cenk,
Okay.
I played the clip of you talking, so tell me how I'm lying.
Okay. All right. So now of all your questions, you have this fantasy land that Trump was like, oh, the left thinks Abrego Garcia's and I've treated him wrong.
He keeps calling him Abrego Garcia. His name is Kilmar. It's Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I just think that's a little strange.
I think it's
Left,
strange
are you-
too that
come
he does
on,
not
what
remember
planet you live
Kilmer's
on?
name.
No, the courts are not left or right. The courts have held. I'm thrilled that the courts have held. And it was so important for the courts to hold. So if they didn't hold on that, he was going to have unlimited authoritarian power. And we are against that, no matter how many times people try to pretend that we're on the side of Trump. Listen to what I am actually saying. And you will see this every day on the Young Turks. I am against Trump.
Then how do I
Totally.
bring you this
Okay.
person?
Now, okay. Yes, but why do you love Trump will be the next question. Okay.
Did I ask that? Cenk,
okay,
talk
so
about a
now-
straw
Cenk,
man.
shut up.
You're making up stuff I never said.
Cenk, shut up.
Come on.
Put me on here. if
Shut
I'm
the
not-
fuck
I can't
up.
answer your
Cenk,
question.
I'm giving you
my
plenty of
God.
time to...
And that was perfect from Krystal because Cenk has been accusing her of straw manning, and then
Yes. And Jake is still crying like a fucking bitch. I'm doing this boo-hoo-hoo act so I can get my way, so I can scream and yell and maybe not answer the questions. And say, of course, 1,600 times.
Literally comes up with a quote that she didn't say. Comes up with a quote that she did fucking
Holy
say
shit.
after she read a quote that he did. I mean, imagine embarrassing yourself in such an insane way, live on this giant channel that you invited yourself onto. That's the real crazy thing. Again, if you care so much about the framing, you should have hosted the conversation on your own damn show. Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you go on someone else's show. They express their opinion, which might be different than yours, but they're the fucking host. What do you expect her to do?
Yeah, of
Say,
course.
here's our good friend Cenk, who's going to enlighten us all and illuminate.
That's what he
the truth.
wants.
Like, is
Cenk
that
is
really what he
nobody's
fucking
friend.
expected?
Yes.
Though, like, I'm just like, is the AC broken and wherever he's recording again? Like, what is causing this level of fucking anger and petulance? Just have a conversation. And it's not that hard to admit you were wrong. In fact, it actually goes a long way with people. Like, there's nothing that makes people trust you more than admitting when you were wrong about something in the past. Because then people are like, oh, this guy's not bullshitting me. He's willing to admit when he's wrong, or at least amend or edit statements to, adjust, whatever the fuck. He can't even do that. He can't even adjust.
Yeah, and guys, I want to just add, Kyle hasn't even gotten to his part of the interview yet, so stay tuned because it's going to get even nuttier.
The answer, brother. You're making up stuff about me. I didn't say that. So you want to talk about straw men?
Oh my
Inventing
God,
things on the
Cenk.
spot.
You guys, it's a mistake. So now,
Yeah, it was a mistake for you.
What? What do you mean? What do you mean? You're mistaking yourself on coming on Krystal and Kyle and friends.
we're talking about the Pentagon.
Paige Larson, welcome in. Good
I
morning.
think that I thought, oh my God, Elon's such a good guy. And Trump's such a good guy, even though I've spoken out against them
Once again, strawmanning her.
single
Wait a
time.
minute.
And then I magically thought,
Wait a minute.
oh, I bet they become liberals overnight, progressives overnight. No, you put out the
Hold
Pentagon
on,
thing
hold on.
so that they're stuck either way. That's why Bernie and Roe joined me.
Does Trump seem stuck?
Nah. Time out. Excuse you. Are you saying that you are a fan of Elon now? You saying that you love Elon so much? Oh my God. You have become completely unhinged.
Just basically catching him because they didn't cut the Pentagon base. Oh, it's a real thorn in his side. He doesn't know what he's going to do.
Because either they cut the Pentagon, we go, yes, mission accomplished. We got a tiny amount accomplished during the Trump reign, which seemed impossible. Or they don't cut the Pentagon and they add to it. And then we all come out, as I did, and Bernie and Roe did, and go, see, we told you.
They're
hypocrites.
You make it
The
look like
leaders of your party never intended to cut the Pentagon.
You are not in Congress. So here's the gotcha that Bernie...
And he'll never be in Congress.
They said, hey, we are... respectively, a senator and a person in Congress. Do you know what that means? We can introduce bills. So they said, oh, Elon, you want to fucking do this? You care about all of this government waste? Let us introduce a bill that will help you cut that government spending. Oh, here, we can take away the waste from the military. Oh, here, we can take away the waste here. Here's how we create more money for the government. Let's tax the rich. We'll put a bill out that says, here's how we can cut government expenses and raise more money, and we'll do it by, cleaning up the military, and we'll make sure that the rich pay a little bit more. Why don't you go ahead and vote for that, Elon? You said you'd be happy to pay more in taxes if you thought it was going to actually increase government funding. They can do that gotcha because they will actually put the bill in front of him. When you go out and you say, MAGA's really interested in cutting the military budget, you look like a fool because you're just laundering their reputation. You're just sanitizing the truth. What you should be doing is calling them liars and frauds and pointing out how historically they have not done cuts to the military. They've cut everything else and raised the military budget.
Pentagon. MAGA, they were lying to you. Now,
does MAGA care, Cenk?
No
Did that work? Does MAGA care?
They do care.
No, they don't.
Okay, Krystal.
I've seen
Krystal's right.
pushback on the Pentagon.
You're wrong.
Let me just say.
Give it up,
because I let
Cenk.
you go on for a little while.
Oh, I know.
There were two tactics that were floated by me and by you in our conversation. Okay, you said.
Thank you. Please
I
move
think
it.
it's great that Elon's responding to me, Don Jr.'s responding to me. Like we have more of a chance. No, you said we have more of a chance with these guys to cut the Pentagon budget than we don't. And I said nothing good's going to come out of this.
Krystal's like a mother.
And so the important thing to do is to resist the project outright because we don't want a bunch of the richest man on the planet running our government. And so we saw how this played out.
Yeah,
the Pentagon. Hold on. The Pentagon did not get cut. And actually, what happened is all of the liberal and left organizing against Tesla, against the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, against Elon directly, tanked his popularity to the point that Trump felt he was a political liability and the whole project had to be scrapped. So the tactic of let's work with them and try to cut the Pentagon budget failed. The tactic of let's resist this project outright and make the case and make Elon himself politically toxic succeeded.
So, Krystal, we do live in two different worlds. It's fascinating.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
To see. It's
no fucking shit is wrong. If you missed all that context, it's like Krystal is scolding Jake like a child. Like she's an actual fucking mother. And she's actually spitting facts there. Because reference, if you know she's like scolding the fuck out of Cenk like a mother would scold a child. That's right, Krystal Ball is actually the mom of progressives. Oh, I do, Spangless. Good to see you, good morning. Good morning, Pendulous Trevor. Good to see you. I actually do look like you're me, like you trying to stream. But anyway, good to see you. Good morning. Yes, he does. He actually act like a child. That's why he's being scolded by Krystal Ball.
amazing to see. So, number one, the project of saying cut the Pentagon worked. Why did it work? Because if they cut the Pentagon, it magically became progressives overnight? No. It worked because it showed and highlighted their hypocrisy.
Oh,
that they
for
weren't going to come back.
fuck's sake.
This dude doesn't know that Donald Trump was already president for 4 fucking years and did about as much hypocrisy as one could possibly do in the Oval Office.
Also, that's just like me saying, like, hey guys, I think next week Zach's gonna discover the cure for cancer. Right? Like, and then when it doesn't happen, I'm like, and see, I proved what a fucking moron he is. That's basically what Jake is trying to take credit for here.
Correct on master.
And now I get it, guys. Especially if you're in the audience, you're not seeing it. I get it, and I'm not saying that as an insult. You're not seeing it.
So
because
you
you're
won
not
saying it as an insult, you dumbass.
Even though you thought that the Pentagon budget would get cut.
Can I finish? Okay.
No,
So
you
the
cannot
reason you're
finish.
not seeing it is because you're not engaging with MAGA, and that's okay. And you don't want to
No,
engage
you
with
cannot
MAGA
finish.
about it.
Do
Shut
you
up
know
and
who
let.
I am? Do you know the show I host?
I don't know if you know who you are.
Who are you talking to right now?
Okay,
I host a
all right.
show with Sagar and Jetty and Emily Jasinski every day.
So Krystal,
No
are
one
you
in this
saying-
room talks more to MAGA than I do, okay?
Yeah. Okay. But
Damn.
so are you saying that none of the MAGA voters?
Like, I can't argue with that. That's true. I never.
Who are you? Do you know? She's like, do you know who you're talking to? You know who I am? And the shows that I host? Like, damn, she's going the fuck out of Cenk. Like, she's ready to give this motherfucker a punishment. Holy shit. And Cenk doesn't even know. Like, he's acting like he doesn't know who the fuck Krystal is, and he doesn't know what kind of shows Krystal hosts. I mean, this is fucking insane. He's acting like a spoiled fucking brat. This is all going to hell with Cenk.
And by the way, Krystal
Yes, you are.
argues
Let's
with them
fucking
just
go.
as intensely. At least
Up
Sagar
draft.
is.
Good morning.
Never seen
Welcome,
her get into
everyone.
Emily.
Welcome.
You don't get into it with Emily that intense. But
Happy to fill in
we've
for
ran
Brandon.
into multiple debates where Krystal's absolutely fucking clobbers Sagar, exposes him, just defenestrates him live on air. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jake is taking this so personally, not even taking into account the fact that Krystal's being more polite to him. Far more polite. Because she knows Sagar can handle the smoke. And Sagar apparently can admit that he's wrong, as we've seen him do, even though he's, like he agrees with us on less than Cenk theoretically does. But Cenk is apparently 10 times a narcissist. He can't just be like, "Yep, I gave the MAGA base more credit than they deserve. That sucks."
Yeah, this is crazy. One, could you imagine just being Kyle sitting there watching the go down? Like, I'm so kudos to him, bro. He was like, "No, that's my wife's time. She's a professional. She's
Right,
gonna
hitting the vape.
Yeah, dude, I would be screaming over the top. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Why did you want to come on this fucking?
Yeah, if I was married to Krystal right now and said, "Hey, Krystal, why don't you do this? Why don't you debate with Cenk? Okay, let me go outside and smoke some. Let me go smoke some weed outside. I'll be back with you later. Okay? I'll see you later, girl. I love you. Go scold Cenk like a motherfucker."
Show then. Why did you invite yourself? Why did you call in your last fucking favor with me to glom onto some of my clout? Because let's be real, Kyle's career, rocket ship going to the fucking moves.
Hey,
Loaded
same
stars.
thing with
It's
majority
crazy. You know what I
reporting
mean?
the
Jake's
source and the
career
left
trajectory
leftist
going
mafia,
like
the
this,
letter
and they
hat
made
in
a
this
very
space.
different calculation.
And
Kyle
oh,
was
so
like,
much
you know what?
more.
I'm going to
Hold up.
call.
Hey, Zach, same thing with you guys. The majority report, the source, A Difficult Truth, Galactic News Network, the letter hack, this space, and also more many things outside of TYT. Things that I could go on and on and on about. Especially the leftist mafia and Power Report. And Big Dixon. And like it or not. Those are going up. Their viewerships are going up. Memberships are going up. While TYT's down. They're going down to hell.
Bag of frauds. I'm going to belittle them every single day. I'm going to make sure that every single
Of course, this space does have the potential to destroy TYT. Watch what happens when this space goes 24 hours someday.
Person that I can reach is informed at how horrible this movement is, this fascist movement that's growing. And Cenk was like, I want to get beers with them. Well, we can see which is the correct choice.
So I'm trying to position it in the right place.
I get that there's
so
some people in the MAGA, like for example, Dave Smith. I don't hold it against people.
It's not somewhere new
Smith,
every 10 minutes. I'm just trying to get it in the right position.
On the show, right? I can kind of get it. But the people that Cenk is talking to are like Dr. Phil and Charlie Kirk, like the worst of the worst brain-dead idiot MAGA propagandists and, frankly, Nazi collaborators. That's who we're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
How to get spotted?
No!
Grab an ice
God
cream
damn it!
celebrate.
How many times do I have to deal with a fucking ad?
Like the MAGA voters were thrilled that they added
Damn
to the
it.
Pentagon. Is that what you're
They
saying?
don't give a shit
I'm
because
saying-
Trump did it.
Elon and
Yeah,
Trump.
you guys are wrong.
Elon and Trump
They
and
don't
Don
give a shit,
Jr.
right.
Cenk lied to you from the beginning when they pretended like there was
Here
even a
comes Kyle.
1% chance of it. So when people told you at the time, though, resist them outright and point out that they're frauds.
Okay,
Don't
so
pretend like
this
maybe
is
they'll
so
cut it.
stupid.
That was kind of the
You
point.
guys have a totally ridiculous, stupid. All right, let me not be insulting. We disagree on strategy. Okay.
Oh,
Definitely,
you
yes.
are being
This
salty.
whole idea that you're
Oh,
making
you're
difference
being
is not to the
salty.
left. I can't believe you guys think that.
Oh my
That
God.
sounds totally detached from reality.
I'll make that case
why
in a
is
minute.
Elon-
You sure?
Why is Elon Musk out? Because people burn Tesla cars? I mean, Krystal, you said that in the intro. Are you serious? No, Elon's out because his policies were always deeply unpopular. No one wanted those cuts.
Yeah, and who
MAGA
pressed that
wanted
case?
them, and they're in law.
Cenk, and who pressed that case?
The
The
left
left and liberals.
in the street.
Joe Rogan hosted him on his podcast to pump him up. Joe Rogan, think about, but Cenk, think about this.
Doing
Think
this
about this.
unbelievable straw man.
Joe Rogan moved his podcast to Texas because of Elon Musk.
Of course he did. And plus, Cenk, you're being a little delusional right now. I think you're being a complete asshole. Explain why you're being scolded like a child by fucking Krystal and Kyle. Like, Kyle is your daddy and Krystal is your mommy. And they'll be like, no, don't do that. If you do, you're gonna get spanking and you're gonna go to your room. And we'll take away your stuff for 5 days. This is why Kyle and Krystal are the mom and dad of progressives. Alright, go enjoy yourself and cutting that grass, Penny. See you when you get back. Because right now I'm filling in for Brandon Sutton, who's not streaming today.
No.
Hold on, can I just finish?
Let me just finish my thought here, okay? Rogan hosted Zuckerberg and Andreessen to attack the CMTV,
Of course he
to
did.
gut and attack the CMTV.
That's overnight.
No,
Are
but
you insane? No, guys.
Are you insane?
All those pimples on his ass. Yeah, it's ironic because in this whole video he looks like a fucking zit moments away from a bloody release of pus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was saying earlier. He looks like a fucking pimple.
Hey, you
Love
were the
that,
one who barely
right?
moved
I
that.
said,
Hold up. Let's go back to that freeze
He
frame
looks like-
real quick. I love that freeze frame. Where Krystal has that beautiful, gorgeous smile. Oh, Cenk is like, what the fuck is happening? I just love this freeze frame. It's absolutely
A
perfect.
fucking zit moments away from a bloody release of pus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was saying earlier. He looks like a fucking pimple.
Hey, thanks for sharing this on Blue
Hey, you were the one who
Sky.
barely
I
moved that.
said,
Cenk,
No, but
if anything is going to be populist,
that I
hold
thought that it-
on,
Oh,
Cenk.
dear.
Let me finish a thought. If anything, if the populist right stands for anything, you would think it would be
Brought that
an
mom in here.
anti-scam bureau that is wildly
Here
effective.
she goes.
But no, and
Oh,
actually
no,
stood
no.
up against debanking conservatives. But no, what did Rogan do, and what did they cheer for with Elon with the chainsaw? Completely gutting not only the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau,
Yes,
Trump
yes.
gutting the National Labor Relations Board, but then defenestrating the ability of this government to enforce white-collar crime at all. Did MAGA care? No.
No,
They
we did
didn't.
not care.
The only people that held them to account were left and liberals who organized against that and, yes, successfully made Elon so toxic that he ultimately crashed out of the administration. That's what happened.
And your boys broke Hannah, and you kept constantly pissing and moaning about it. They were like, you
can't. Oh my God. Once again, Krystal scolding Cenk like a fucking child. Like she is mom. And Cenk is the child. Holy fuck. He's like, oh my God. Okay, calm down. Wait a minute. Hold on. This is what I do best, man. Update. Hold in the fucking hell. This is why I like Krystal Ball so much. It's like she said, motherly type progressive. I will scold you like a fucking child. If you start shitting her and you start saying these wrong facts, you will absolutely get scolded by fucking Krystal. And even the time she has to scold fucking Sagar, a fucking conservative. And I also feel very bad for her. I don't know why the hell she has to put up with Sagar. I really don't. Because Sagar's such an idiot.
antagonize Elon Musk. Don't burn down the fucking Teslas. Don't call them Nazi cars. He didn't mean anything by it when he did that
Brandon just went live. I misspoke.
So let me try explaining it this way and see if I can get through to you guys. So,
but Emo Dragon, I forgot to say hello to you. Welcome in.
Of course. So I'm saying that
Emo Dragon, I forgot to say hello to you. Welcome in. Good morning. Hilarious that Cenk accused Krystal of not talking to anyone but other than progressives that she chat. So much crap for hosting a show with Cigar considered love. That was my point. Good morning to you.
It's a given that he's always going to do, for example, 90% of things massively wrong. And in the other 10% that he plans to do wrong, I'm saying we have a fighter's chance if we ally and we show hypocrisy, or we get allies. It's a win-win either way, okay? So, for example, in opposing the war, either they become our allies and somehow at some point we stop this war, or we show, oh, you guys never meant it. Now you're the pro-war party, which makes us much more likely to win over independence and win the next election. But as I say that, you keep framing it as if I agree with them 90%. And where I think that I'm going to flip them overnight on the 90% where we disagree. No, there's no chance of that. So you can stop asking that question. They're not going to move on cutting the budget, and they're not going to listen that, hey, you know what, you shouldn't cut the malaria treatment in Africa, you shouldn't cut the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, because every dollar we spend there, we get back $20, etc. But if you go with your maximalist approach, guys, and you say, all right, I'm fighting you in a maximum way, so that means I'm never going to agree with you, I'm going to insult you at every turn, I'm not going to listen to you. So when you come in and you go, hey, guys, let's ally against the war, or maybe did you think that Elon's and I said this in every right-wing talk show that I did, and I said it at the Charlie Kirk event, I said, remember, beware of your own donors like Elon Musk. And then
you said, they just booed Mitch McConnell. Take the win. Take the win. Why won't you take the win?
That's a true fact. He actually said that.
She said, Jane, don't rewrite history.
Eventually, they got aware of their own donors. Now, did they do it magically and overnight? No, it was mainly a fight between Elon and Trump, right?
It was their egos. Of course. It had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk.
The reason they are unpopular is not because the less maximalist approach of yelling fascist at every Trump voter is working. It's because their policies are deeply unpopular.
And who explains that their policies are deeply unpopular?
Answer the fucking question, Jake.
Those policies are. So that's where the credit belongs.
Like I do. So
right, but that's not like Joe Rogan does, right? Joe Rogan doesn't do that. Charlie Kirk doesn't do that. They don't do that.
Absolutely. This is why Charlie Kirk doesn't do that. This is why you're being scolded like by Krystal and Kyle. Like they're your mommy and daddy. They're getting ready to spank your ass and take your stuff away and send you to your room to bedtime.
Who they are.
Yes, but my point is, Joe Rogan and Charlie Kirk don't do that, Jake. They're not allies. Joe Rogan and Charlie Kirk don't do that. Steve Bannon doesn't do that. Sloppy Steve goes and gives Trump a hand job every day. That's the point, is that they're not allies. And by the way, even on the Iran war thing, they're lying. They are lying. We literally have the quotes right here. Charlie Kirk is already backpedaling. Quote, we must trust Trump in this situation. Steve Bannon, if Trump ultimately decides to bomb Iran's nuclear sites, MAGA would come around. That's not me speaking, that's Steve Bannon. The vast majority of the MAGA movement will go, look, we trust your judgment. We don't like it. In fact, we may hate it, but we'll get on board. Tucker Carlson called Trump and apologized, and he also said on his podcast with Steve Bannon, quote, I like Israel. I don't talk about Gaza because my audience got mad at me.
What?
He said, Donald Trump, who at his core is sincere about peace, I feel for President Trump, and he just has to roll with it. That is not true. What he's saying is not true. These are not allies. They will immediately start moving the goalposts as soon as Trump starts bombing Iran. You're going to get this. You're going to get, he's getting bad advice from the neocons around him. It's not a big deal. It's a limited attack. It's defensive. It's not offensive. This isn't like Iraq. There are no boots on the ground. The only people who are sincere that I will grant you, Cenk, is libertarians, so Thomas Massey and Dave Smith, because libertarians have a track record like Ron Paul did of being very principled, but everybody in MAGA, or 99% of them, will bend the knee, just like 99% of the ones in Congress have already bent the knee. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's saying things that are against the war, she's ultimately not signing onto the bill to block the war.
Okay, so here we go again. So again, 90-10, guys.
What do you think Cenk is even arguing here? Like, some people point
What's your argument, Cenk? What's your argument, Cenk? Are you just gonna spit out more like you did earlier? Holy fuck, man. So listen, Cenk. You know you're being scolded by mommy and daddy of progressives, Kyle and Krystal. And you there, looking like the child you are, you're acting like, oh no, mommy and daddy are gonna take away my stuff. Oh no, I'm going to be grounded for 5 days and I'm going to be sent to my room for bedtime without dinner.
At this point, because it seems to me like his only point is to defend himself in a narcissistic way. But like, what is he actually saying here? Just that whoever the president is, you can't actually resist that person in a serious way. You have to coddle to them and their side in order to have influence. It's like, even if that is your opinion, that's a new thing for you, Cenk. Obviously, that's not how you've conducted yourself under previous presidents. Your whole claim to fame was, we were the only left-wing channel that would stick up to Obama and call him out, and that we didn't pander to all the Obama-loving Democrats. It's like, so that wasn't your strategy then. It definitely wasn't under Trump the first time. You've just had this massive revelation that this apparently is the new good strategy. It's clearly already fallen apart, but it's like, what the fuck do you think is even the point of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on it, right? It's all about self-preservation. It's all about post-hoc defending anything that came out of his mouth. So sometimes when you're really going for a while on the mic, you just start to say shit, right? And it comes out of your mouth, and normally when that happens, you're like, I don't know what the fuck.
Every time we're live, that happens at some point.
And you're like, no, I don't know. I was just fucking around. I don't know. I was just fucking around, right? And then Cenk got married to one of those things that just came out of his mouth, and then he kept letting it happen over and over and over again. And now his whole life is just defending stupid word vomit that came out of his mouth that was just drivel for a take to try and sound edgy, to try and make himself seem different. But you're right, in reality, all that's come across, all that he's actually argued for is that we should actually be, like, he's almost arguing for, like, radical centrism.
Zach's not wrong there. He's got an actual point there. Because he's been that, like forever. We all know he's secretly a Republican.
Wait, he's basically saying that no matter how far to the right the Republicans go, let's always treat them as reasonable. Let's always try and find a point of contact with them. And it's interesting because that is pretty similar to how Joe Biden conducted himself in a way that I was deeply critical of, but also Cenk was deeply critical of. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it doesn't make sense for him to now turn around after the abysmal failure of Joe Biden, right? At least from a foreign policy perspective, right? Yeah. Abysmal failure. And then also the fact that he, basically paved the way for Donald Trump to get reelected with his own selfishness, and the fact that he waited so long to drop out, and that he shouldn't have ever sought reelection, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that seems to be like what Cenk has decided is the way to go. Like he wants to be the morning Joe Scarborough kind of a guy now, and I don't understand.
Yeah, I really don't either.
I might skip a few.
That question makes it sound like I think
portions,
Steve
so
Bannon
I
and
can
Tucker
get to the end.
Carlson have good intent, and my God, they're ready to rebel on everything against Donald Trump.
I said Iran.
No.
I said
So
Iran.
I'm not gonna
Can
skip
I
for
just
like
answer a
42
question?
I didn't say
minutes.
that. I said Iran.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So I think
probably gotta
that
go
obviously
skip
90%
to
of
the last 2 seconds.
Why would you choose?
God damn it!
These zombies out of the way.
Ah.
No, just missed it. Okay, let's get this minigun.
the influencers, the hosts, etc., are going to stick with Trump 100%, right? I wouldn't even say 90%.
Also, this is really interesting. Sorry to break in, Kevin, but I want to know what you think
I
about
know
this.
it's like
We had
1
a
hour,
chatter
42
say,
minutes,
I think Cenk doesn't want to
so
debate on TYT
gonna
because
have
then the
to-
remaining audience he has might see how incorrect his takes are, and he doesn't want to risk losing more subscribers.
Natalie is right. Natalie is right.
Do you think he's under the illusion, Gavin, maybe that nobody on the Young Turks audience watches this and that he's only going to be able to get new subscribers? And that if it does go poorly, at least the people who watch the Young Turks won't see it?
I mean, there's no way he's that dumb. He knows that this clip is going to get seen. I mean, he knows how the YouTube algorithm works. It's going to get suggested. People like us are going to make videos reacting to it. You can't just hide this. So, I mean, I don't even think that really makes all that much sense. It's a good theory, Natalie. But, yeah, I don't really think that makes sense.
So I'm going to skip to, like, the good part. We skip to the good part.
Bernie, can marketing and convince, hey, did Trump reach out to the left? No. But did he say that he agreed with left-wing for things like anti-war and corruption? He doesn't mean it, but did he say it? Yes. Was he able
While shitting relentlessly on the entire left.
I'm almost done. So was he able to do better
You
marketing
shut up.
and convince them that he actually is anti-war and
in that video.
anti-corruption? Yes, he did better marketing. It's not true, but he did better marketing. So those voters, a lot of them voted for Barack Obama and a lot of them voted for Bernie. Can we win them back? Yes, we can. Is it easier to win them back?
Can you win them back? Impossible.
About being anti-war. We actually are anti-war.
Yeah, he was gonna do that.
Should we allow...
Are you anti-war? Are you sure? Because your MAGA idiot friends, you say they're anti-war, ain't doing shit.
Strategy to call them fascists.
Should we allow...
I know that emotionally it feels better to call them fascists, but it's a wrong strategy in order to win elections and take power away from Trump. The better strategy is to expose his hypocrisy on war until enough of his voters that were in the middle flip on.
What about the people who actually are fascist, would describe as fascist, and care about the fascist shit and love the fascist shit? Are we trying to win them over too? Or are there some people who we just write off because they are TFGs, they are too far gone? And why should we waste our time reaching out to people who have fundamentally different values?
So, good question. Let's take 2 examples, right? Three examples, real quick. So one is Mark Levin, right? Mark Levin is a neocon establishment, loves this war. Trying to convince him to not back Israel's war is hilarious. So
Are you
should you bother
serious?
with that? No, he's a bad guy. Always going to be a bad
But
guy.
Dr.
No
Phil,
shit.
Dr. Phil, on the other hand, a very reachable man that's clearly interested in the dialogue with the left, clearly interested in evolving and adjusting his viewpoints. Like, what the fuck? But Dr. Phil...
To not back Israel's war is hilarious.
It's hilarious that you just said that because now the U.S. is backing Israel by joining with them in bombing Iran.
So,
Theocratic fascists, whatever they call me. If that's what being a theocratic fascist is, then that's me. You know what I mean?
Just skip it.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure Cenk hasn't
So I can
talked
move on
to
to
Matt
the
Walsh,
next,
and I'm pretty sure Matt Walsh
the next
actually was one of the few
video, so I can
Republicans who was
cover
like
that.
very against Cenk being platformed at events like CPAC.
Interesting.
Remember that with like...
But I just mean, like, if they call themselves fascists, like, even tongue-in-cheek.
For sure. Oh, yeah, they hella do. And again, like, yeah, anyway, we can just watch. We don't have to keep, making the same points over and over again. We're almost at the end of this.
right? Then there's Steve Bannon, who's a bad guy on 99% of issues, but at a bare minimum has to say that he's anti-war because his base is pushing him to say anti-war. But I do believe that he has some thoughts that are anti-war. Okay, so should I try to convince his listeners to be anti-war? Yes.
No.
There's a third category, Joe Rogan and the Brosphere. And I said that those guys would be the first to object to freedom of speech violations, constitutional things, more, and they did. And they did. You say not enough?
No.
But of course. Okay, no, I know, never enough.
Where's that coming from?
I swear to you, I can
For real.
Will you shut up,
I'm
Cenk?
surprised we made it through this
You
much.
listen?
I mean, it's been so unproductive to have gone on for an hour at this point.
Yeah, I feel like we
This
broke
is
that,
why-
the part with Kyle screaming.
Yeah, this is why I had to skip a majority portion, because I have like 2 more videos. One, thanks to Solar, because I had to get another video in. Originally I had 2, now I have like 3. This is like the end of the first video that I'm covering. Nearly the end. So the next video I'm gonna do like Cenk's little live stream reaction. Then I'm gonna do that video that oh wow, wow! Dan's gonna react too. Damn. Even when I'm reacting. Last week he reacted to Anna being stupid. Oh wait, that was 2 weeks ago. Never mind, when he was sick. But anyway, yeah, let's go finish this up, and I'll move on to the next video.
It was probably the craziest it gets, but we can watch the rest if you want.
All right, yeah, let me hear what Kyle has to say right here, and if it doesn't get really spicy, we can
Yeah, I'm definitely down to if you want.
Explain this to you in a way where you will agree with me. I promise you I can explain it to you in a way where you will agree with me.
No,
Joe Rogan, I did this with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'm just saying, Rogan, if you think you can't convince him on this war, yeah, we disagree. Go ahead.
No. Here's my point. I'm happy you brought up Joe Rogan, because I literally did this with Joe Rogan. I was on his show 5 or 6 times. I would make left-wing arguments. He would nod along in agreement and tell me I was right about all of it. Then, a short time later, he has Trump on his show, gives him a fucking hot stone massage and a hand job, and then endorses him and goes to his inauguration. And now when he does disagree with Trump, it is so fucking tepid, and then he goes right back to sucking him off on the next podcast. So my issue with somebody like Joe Rogan is it was already explained to him, Jay. Trump is not for free speech. I know that Rogan thinks this guy believes in free speech, but here's a guy who sued Ann Selzer for a poll he didn't like. He sued CBS for how it edited a Kamala interview. He sued Simon & Schuster for a Bob Woodward book because it quoted him and he didn't like the quote. He threatened to de-license news outlets that criticized him. He wants to punish flag burning with a year in jail. He sued CNN for $175 million for like election denialism.
He's handing it.
reading it off
He's
of the
handing
screen
it to
right
Cenk.
here.
He has this prepared. There's no way
He's handing it to Cenk. If you just saw how the hell Kyle handed it to him, he's handing it to him like a fucking list of laundry chores of what the hell what the hell Trump has done. Like sue CBS for an interview with Kamala Harris and all the shit that he's done. This is what's happening. And now Cenk's being scolded by, Kyle. Like, if Cenk's daddy was Kyle Polinsky.
like just.
Okay, because I was about to be extremely impressed.
No, Kyle definitely brings like fact sheets ready to just read. He loves doing that. Like, here's 15 bullet points that you cannot fucking argue with.
It's a great strategy.
Oh, it is. Also, I was just like, I feel like it's crazy for someone of Cenk's, to have his channel with 6 million subs and you can't even afford to like buy a portable ring light to bring with you. I know it's a random thing to bring up at this point in the conversation, but his lighting is just such trash, and it's so cheap to buy a ring light or just some sort of portable light. It's just, I don't know.
It also always just kind of reads a little disrespectful. It's like, you don't care how you look on my show after I'm having you on my show and you wanted to come on my show. Like,
Yep. Here I am in the fucking hotel room an hour before I go on someone else's show. Let me piss and moan. Yeah.
Alright, that's the end of the video right there. Let me put myself back on camera. Hold up. Alright. Yeah. I mean, what y'all think about that? That went to hell. That totally went to hell. And Dan is actually reacting to it right now. If you want to see the whole thing, you can go to Dan after this. Or you can just pop on another tab if you have a PC and watch it. Cenk was right. Dude, are you still supporting Cenk? Are you sure about that? Anyway, I've got 2 more videos, and I'm gonna send you to either Dan or Brandon. Thank you, bud. Thank you. Welcome in, Bud Hurlers. Let me get this next video. This is from Cenk's little live stream from last night. He looked very kind of depressed, like his ass got beaten by Krystal and Kyle. This happened while I was modding Left of the Box. Now this is like 31 minutes and 4 seconds. So let's take a look at this. I set this up.
Major issues that we now have to discuss now that the war has started. Trump is saying we're changing our policy from destroying their nuclear facilities to regime change. That is an epic disaster for reasons that I will explain to you in a minute. Then how is Iran going to strike back? And then the third is the MAGA civil war has reignited, and the guy reigniting it is Thomas Massey and Donald Trump. So look, you guys know weekdays at 6 o'clock Eastern is when we do the show live. Young Turks on YouTube right here, okay? So we're going to have...
Yeah, and when your viewers go down into the tubes, and when you lose all that money, when you're losing subscribers, for all the lies you tell, especially Anna, all the lies she tells too. She goes on fucking Fox News mode on fucking Wednesdays.
All of the details and the latest for you guys Monday at 6 o'clock. Anna and I will do the show then.
What kind of facts? Are you gonna just pull up some fucking random ass news source, put on graphics, instead of actually watching some video? Or are you gonna send a reporter there? What kind of fucking source? Tell me. What kind of fucking source?
But now let me give you the super important updates. Why is this so important for regime change being our new goal? Well,
Jake, you are so sad that your ass got kicked.
Videos and written down on X. You could go see it for yourself. I said they'll start.
Bro, nobody wants to go on fucking Twitter.
Because of WMD, they'll have fake intelligence about it, just like they did in Iraq. They're running the same exact playbook. So now what they're doing is they're saying, oh yeah, Iran had a nuke. Oh, well, they didn't have a nuke. Oh my God, they're going to get it within a year. Or they're going to get it within a couple of weeks. Just kidding. They're going to get...
Fuck this. Fuck this. You know what? No. Cenk, shut up. Just shut up. This is the reason why your brain is so broken by Twitter. A platform that is owned by Elon Musk. This is why you lied on fucking Kyle and Krystal and friends. Echo Sandwich, welcome in. If Iran does have a nuclear program, then it's because of direct involvement of Trump. And guess what? That happened on Saturday night. Sorry, I mean, so fucking mad at Cenk right now. He looks so defeated. Oh, you're talking about what happened in 2018. Okay, but now you gotta go back to today. You guys, what happened on Saturday night, Pickle. I'm only gonna play one more snippet and we're gonna move on.
Within a year, maybe, right? So then they come in and they say, okay, we destroyed their nuclear facilities. Trump says we obliterated them and they're totally gone. Now, there's huge disagreement as to whether that happened. Some U.S. experts are saying Isfahan is barely touched. They hit the top layers of it, but they didn't touch the lower layers. There's some disagreements. Some in Iran saying that Fodor is fine.
Where are you getting this information from?
And we're saying it's gone. Okay, so
What
there's
about
a problem
Malachi?
for in continuing the war for the Americans and the Israelis, because if Trump is right and we obliterated all their nuclear facilities, and remember, they're not for nuclear weapons. They were for nuclear energy. Could they enrich uranium enough to turn it into a weapon? Yes, but it would take years. So they were enriching already as leverage for the negotiations, etc. But they were still a long time away from getting to the point where they were at where they could turn it into a weapon. Actually, building the weapon would also take years. Then they'd have to take the enriched uranium and put it into the weapon and then deliver it. So they weren't anywhere near close to that. But okay, the U.S. says we wiped them out. So great, let's come home, right? The war's over. Now, of course, Iran's going to retaliate.
Really? What are you getting this stuff at? Where are you getting this shit from?
We'll talk about that in a minute. But that's a problem because Israel doesn't want us to go home. Israel wants us to keep fighting.
No shit.
Because this was never about their nuclear program. Netanyahu's on the record for 33 years straight telling us, oh, you have to invade Iran. You have to attack Iran. You have to bomb Iran. They're weeks away, months away from getting a nuclear weapon. Well, for 33 straight years, he was lying. They weren't anywhere near getting a nuke. So since that was never the real reason, the real reason was regime change.
What the hell you got
until the Iranians or we go in with ground troops or the Israelis do it themselves, or in their fantasies, the Iranians rise up and do it themselves. And then they have a government that in their ludicrous fantasy land comes out and goes, oh, you know what? Even though we were just attacked and we did this revolution and we got rid of the mullahs, we no longer care about the citizens of Iran or the nation of Iran, even though we're the new leaders of Iran. And we say we're so happy that Israel and America bombed us. That has a 0% chance of happening.
Are you that happy that happened?
Absolutely zero.
Are you really that happy that happened?
But
you are just sad.
Israel pushes America to fight these wars. Yes, they did it in Iraq. Yes, they're the ones who gave us fake weapons of mass destruction intelligence so we would go in there. Yes, at the time they said Iraq was their number one enemy. Now they say Iran is their number one enemy. Yes, they make us fight those wars. Yes, Donald Trump in his speech on Saturday.
Ah, God damn it. So many ads. So many ads.
He said that he said God bless Israel. He also said God bless America, God bless the Middle East, but it was weird, jarring to put.
Yeah, no shit. He said that. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, fuck that. I'm like, fuck that. No, come on. Come on. Get rid of this God shit. This is so stupid. Why? Why would you even think about that? Good Punjabi, welcome in. Good morning. But I just don't understand. Why can't these politicians get rid of the God shit? Because you must understand that we know something called separation of church and state. That's the reason why this country is being fucked in the ass by money-hungry politicians, both Dems and Republicans. Oh my damn, what is wrong with y'all? Alright, we're just gonna go right to the ending.
For God's sake, put maximum pressure on your politicians. You can make a big, big difference if you do that. If you're a libertarian or independent that voted for Trump, please put maximum pressure on your politicians. And obviously, if you're on the left, we've always been anti-war. Keep putting the anti-war pressure on. And so let's keep fighting back. Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 o'clock. We do the show live on YouTube.
I don't think they're going to listen to you.
Watch it right here on YouTube. So I look forward to get out there as quickly as we can.
and join the movement. United Against War.
Yeah, nobody's going to join your movement. Yeah, mute. Go mute. Asswipe. Let's see.
At least that's what I've kind of like observed from my opinion.
Yeah, this is a live look at Dan on the internet and what he's doing right
That's
now.
just the fun that I found.
Stuff that I just reacted to. If you just missed it, that's a live look at Dan on the internet. He's live. Also, Brandon. Right now, if you missed it, I just reacted to Cenk's little live stream. A little bit of some bits and pieces because I really don't give a shit about what Cenk says. I also just reacted to his debate with Krystal and Kyle and friends, which is what Dan is doing right now. I can send you to either Brandon or Dan, because both of them are live. Right after I watch this one last video, because I gotta go shower, and I really haven't eaten, so excuse me. Literally watch this one last video. That's all I sent to me in the chat. This is from Coach D_speaks. This is why the Young Turks are being irrelevant. It lasts for 7 minutes and 8 seconds. Let's go.
You know, I've expressed my disdain on this channel many times for how some journalists, these horrible people, that will, you know, I've expressed my disdain on this channel many times for how some journalists, and, you know, I've expressed my disdain on this channel many times for how some journalists and creators on the left feel like in order for them to stay relevant, they have to platform these horrible, racist, misogynistic, homophobic, hateful, bigoted Republicans. It makes no sense to me that in order for these people to make a buck, they have to maintain this adjacency to these horrible people. That will never be me. I can promise you that no matter how big this channel gets, you will never see me have these people on without dragging their asses about the horrible things that they've said in the past. So it pisses me off that, and listen, I don't pay attention to the Young Turks anymore. I have just stopped completely supporting that channel for, it's been years now that I've paid any attention to Cenk Unger and Anna Kasparian. But every once in a while, someone sends me a video, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a look at this. So when I see Cenk Unger having Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Young Turk.
Hold up. Crimson Diamond welcome in. He says, damn, you got fat. Well, I can't control that. That's the way he looks. But welcome in. Do behave yourself. I only got one mod in this chat right now. All my other mods are either sleeping or have gone away.
I'm thinking, this dude, here's his opportunity to get some people back, right? Because the Young Turks, if you look at their engagement, it's gone way down. To have millions of followers on subscribers on YouTube and barely any engagement on their stuff, you know that people have said, screw the Young Turks, right?
Yes,
so here's his opportunity.
Here's
the opportunity for him to have this horrible person. Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of the worst. To have her on the channel and to say, before we can get started here, before we can talk about what we have in common, which I disagree that they should ever have these conversations anyway, but before we can talk about what we have in common, I gotta question you on some of the racist, homophobic, bigoted things that you've said in the past. But no, not Cenk. No, see, these people know what butters their bread. I can imagine this post got the most engagement they've gotten in a while. This is how this guy starts the conversation with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
All right, now we've got a fun and interesting guest for you guys. Joining me now on the Young Turks, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman from Georgia's 14th District. Congresswoman Greene, good to have you on the Young Turks.
Hi, thanks for having me tonight.
No problem. So normally we disagree.
I have to speak this up.
You've seen some of that.
I cannot stand
But tonight we're going to talk about something that we might have in common. And I want to get a little bit of
and I'm
information
also
about what's happening on the
putting my
inside in
finger on
Washington
her
and see
face
if we can maybe
because I
prevail.
can't
So,
stand this
two sides coming together here on what I hope is a good
shit
mission.
asshole.
Well, look, look at that. We're going to have Margaret Taylor Greene on. I know we've had some disagreements in the past, but right now we're going to find some common ground. And we're going to talk about Israel and Iran, and hopefully you and I together, we can help stop a war. You know what pisses me off the most about this? He could have found a Democrat. He can find a Democrat that he's disagreed with in the past. He can find a Democrat that he finds common ground with on this topic. He doesn't need to have a racist, bigoted, homophobe on his channel that he disagreed with in the past. You can find a Democrat who is not a racist, who is not a bigot, who is not a homophobe, and you can have this same conversation with them. Because make no mistake about it, there is a goddamn thing. There isn't a goddamn thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Cenk are going to say on the Young Turks that is going to get Donald Trump to not go to war with Iran. This entire interview is about her ratings and their ratings. That is it. This is bullshit. And I know people are like, oh yeah, Coach D, if you could have Margaret Taylor Greene on, you'd have her on. You know what? I would. But here's what I would have to do. I would have to schedule another guest 2 minutes after scheduling her as a guest. Because here's how it would start. I would start off by saying, so, you fucking racist, homophobic bigot, what do we want to talk about here? And she would say, well, you know what, goddammit, I'm going to get off of this show because I'm not going to be called that. And I'd say, yeah, you are. You're going to get your racist, bigoted, homophobic ass off of my show. Next guest. I'm not having a conversation with a racist, homophobic bigot without calling them out on that first. This is why no one supports the Young Turks. This is why no one wants to have anything to do with these people. This guy gets so damn excited about talking to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it's not because he's going to call her out on how horrible and hateful she is. It's because he just wants to be able to have her on the show. He thinks that's their way of getting some viewers back. And maybe it works for a second, but what you did was you just pissed a bunch of people off because they're watching this show thinking he needs to get on her ass, and you're not. You're doing nothing but giving a stage to a horrible ass person, and that is why we dislike you. We dislike your show. We dislike everything about you guys. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene on. You got to call her out. She's horrible. It would take you one freaking swipe on her X account. One scroll. That's all it would take.
Let's
you.
fucking
and
go.
You would find some horrible things that you could easily bring up right at the beginning of this show. Maybe you don't even have to bring it up as horrible as I would, because I would not give a damn. Maybe you bring it up in some other type of way, but you gotta bring it up because we don't respect the fact that you gave a stage to this person and acted like she's not a racist, homophobic bigot. We ain't doing that. We're not doing that. And that is why no one cares for you guys. And that is why I don't respect you. And please, please, I love you guys, but just stop sending me their stuff. I don't even want to see it. Period.
Let's fucking
don't want no
go.
enemies or ops.
Let us fucking go.
Busy and they hard, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.
Damn. That is total fucking.
Hey, do you ever walk into a
breakdown.
room and completely forget why you're there?
Yeah,
totally. Do you ever feel like?
Let's take another live look.
The fact that this is his gotcha.
So
this is
what I
you're
just
not
reacted
seeing.
to
And
earlier.
some of the most naive
If
shit.
you
like,
came in late, like Troop
I criticized Kyle Kalinske about the same stuff. You know, he's actually
this is what I reacted to earlier.
because
This is a live
this
look at
happened
what
and
Dan
it's
for the
kind of,
internet's
less
talking
visible,
about.
But I was calling out Kyle Kalinske as hard
Let's
as I
see
have
what
been
Brandon's
checking
talking
Adams,
about. This is
Mr.
right
Landers,
before I
and
get
Mr.
out of here and
Myrie,
send you to
but she also
somewhere.
acknowledged the wave of energy around Mr. Mamdani's campaign, comparing his run for mayor
Looks
to
like
former
he's
President
talking
Barack
about.
Obama's 2008 presidential
Looks like he's
campaign.
talking about
Hope it doesn't end like that. I hope it does not end
Oh,
like
he's
that.
talking about the New
And
York,
by end like
New York
that,
race.
I don't mean him winning. I mean him winning and then immediately.
Yeah, so he's. I think he's talking about the New York City race. Let me put the camera back on me. So that's what I think he's talking about right now. You go over there. So yeah, that's all I got for you this morning. Any final thoughts before we go? But one last thought in that one last video. He's right. No one likes Cenk. No one likes Anna. No one likes the Young Turks. Nobody cares. Anyway, final thoughts, guys, in the chat before we go. Before I send y'all to Dan and Brandon. Anything in the chat for me? Any questions, comments, concerns? No questions, no comments. I'm just waiting on you guys. My brain always freezes when you ask this question. Okay, I'm sorry, Jet. Okay, let me throw the links. To Dan and Brandon, so I can say most of you to Brandon. Oh, hi Dan. What's up? So I'm throwing the links to Brandon and Dan, so I can send y'all there. I mean, it was a good 2-hour stream. Don't you think? I'm doing good. How are you? Oh, no, it's not you. My brain is just like a result there, trying to remember shit. Oh, well, that's all right. All right, so what we're doing now is throwing the links to Brandon and Dan. So you guys can go over there. Because those of you that missed the Cenk reaction, one of the Cenk versus Krystal and Kyle friends, then you can go to Dan. If you want to see the New York race talk, you can go to Brandon. I'm about to throw these links now. They are. Alright, so there you go. There's the links and no other questions or comments for me. We're going to get out of here. And thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all see y'all in the chats. And I hope y'all have a good day. I hope to see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.